I never thought I'd see the day when my own brother would look at me like I was a stranger. But there I was, sitting across from him in the lawyer's office, watching him smirk as the last of my father's possessions, everything he had worked for his entire life, was handed over to him. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more heartfelt stories about love, loss, and redemption every week. We share emotional tales that remind us how fragile trust can be, how deep pain can run, and how forgiveness can heal even the most broken hearts. Broken Heart. By subscribing, you become part of a community that believes every story, no matter how sad or tragic, carries a message of hope. Crescent moon sparkles. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stay with us for the next story that will move your soul and touch your heart. Guess Dad knew who the real son was, my brother Ethan said, his voice dripping with pride and cruelty. I clenched my hands under the table, forcing a small smile. We were both his sons, Ethan. He leaned back in his chair, not according to the will. And with that, he stood up, shook the lawyer's hand, and walked out as if he had just won a prize. I sat there frozen, unable to move or speak, feeling the weight of betrayal settle over me like a heavy blanket. Dad had been sick for months. Heart failure, the doctors said. He was 72, and though his body was failing, his mind was still sharp. I spent every evening after work at his house, helping him with his meals, his medicine, and his paperwork. Ethan, on the other hand, rarely visited. He was always too busy, always out of town on business. When Dad passed away, it broke something inside me. I was sad, yes, but also at peace, knowing I had done my best to be there for him. The funeral was simple. A handful of close friends, some distant relatives, and Ethan, who arrived in a designer suit and dark sunglasses like a celebrity attending a movie premiere. After the service, the lawyer, Mr. Jennings, told us to come to his office the following week for the reading of the will. I didn't expect anything major. Dad wasn't a rich man, though he built a small manufacturing company from scratch. I figured we'd each get something, maybe the house, the car, or share the company. But I wasn't prepared for what actually happened. The day of the will reading felt heavy. Mr. Jennings' office smelled faintly of old books and coffee. The curtains were drawn halfway, and a beam of light landed directly on the stack of papers in front of him. He adjusted his glasses and began reading. To my eldest son, Ethan Carter, he started. Ethan leaned forward, his grin growing wider with every word. I leave my company, Carter Tools Manufacturing, my home, my car, and all financial accounts in my name. My stomach dropped. I blinked, waiting for him to continue. And to my youngest son, Daniel Carter, the lawyer paused, his eyes flickering to me. I leave my love and hope that he will find his own path in life. That was it. No house, no company, not even a single dollar. Ethan's laugh echoed in the small room. Well, guess Dad knew who was the responsible one. I wanted to argue, to shout that I was the one who had been there every day, who had changed Dad's bandages, who had fed him when he couldn't hold a spoon anymore. But the words wouldn't come out. Mr. Jennings cleared his throat. Gentlemen, that concludes the will. Ethan stood, pocketed his keys, and left without another word. I sat there in silence, staring at the desk. Something didn't feel right. Dad wouldn't have done that. He wasn't perfect, but he was fair. That's when Mr. Jennings looked at me and said quietly, Daniel, there's one more envelope. Your father left it with specific instructions. Mr. Jennings reached into a locked drawer and pulled out a small, brown envelope sealed with wax. My father's handwriting was on the front, neat, careful letters spelling my name. To my son, Daniel. My throat tightened. I held the envelope as if it were made of glass. My hands trembled slightly as I broke the seal and unfolded the letter inside. It read, My dear Daniel, if you are reading this, it means you've already heard my will and probably felt the sting of injustice. I know it must have hurt, but please trust me. What I've done was necessary. There is something your brother doesn't know, something I've hidden for a long time. Go to the company office, the one on Maple Street, and open the safe behind my old painting of a harbor. Inside, you'll find a set of keys and another letter. Use them wisely. Love, Dad. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. What was he talking about? A secret safe? Hidden letters? Mr. Jennings smiled faintly. Your father was a wise man. I believe he wanted you to discover something on your own. I thanked him and left, clutching the letter as if it were my last lifeline. That evening, I drove to the company's main office. It felt strange walking into the building that used to belong to Dad, now officially Ethan's. The receptionist looked surprised to see me. Mr. Daniel, I didn't know you were coming, she said politely. I just need to pick up some of Dad's old things, I replied, trying to sound casual. Dad's office was exactly as he'd left it, neat, organized, and filled with the faint scent of his cologne. On the wall hung his favorite painting, a harbor at sunset. I lifted it carefully, and sure enough, behind it was a small steel safe. The letter had said there would be keys inside. But of course, I didn't know the combination. Then I noticed something odd, a small piece of masking tape stuck to the back of the painting frame. Written on it, in Dad's handwriting, were 6 numbers. I entered the code. The safe clicked open. Inside was a small metal box, a USB drive, a keyring with several keys, and another letter, this one shorter. Daniel, you have always been the heart of this family. While Ethan focused on power, you cared about people. That's why I built something new. Something not even he knows about. The USB contains all the documents you need. The keys belong to a building I bought 2 years ago under your name. Go there. Trust me, Dad. I sat back, stunned. A building? In my name? I grabbed the USB and rushed home, plugging it into my laptop. What I found inside left me speechless. Inside the USB were dozens of files, legal documents, bank statements, and a company registration certificate. My father had secretly started a second company under a different name, Horizon Innovations Ltd., and the listed owner? Daniel Carter. It wasn't a small company either. The documents showed investments, patents, and property deeds, all signed and notarized. Dad had transferred almost $500,000 into its accounts. My eyes filled with tears. He hadn't abandoned me after all. He'd just hidden everything so Ethan couldn't get his hands on it. I scrolled further and found one last document, a handwritten note scanned as a PDF. Daniel, Ethan has always been clever, but his greed will destroy him. I knew if I left everything equally, he would fight you until he got it all. So I gave him what he wanted, the appearance of victory. But real success lies in what you build with heart and kindness. Horizon Innovations is yours. Use it to create something meaningful. When the time comes, Ethan will learn what truly matters. Dad,